peeling back that onion, so to speak, during the transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Because they may not trust us all at once, and they're like, I'm not really going to tell them this because if I do, then this is what's going to happen. So we find out, and through experience, like we kind of know, even like we already think this is going to be an issue. They're not telling us, but it's okay because they don't know. But once they experience us solving it, then they're full trust. Like
yeah,
there are a lot of some of our friends now.
Yeah.
Repeat clients.
Yeah, in the moment, you know, you feel like, okay, this is a bumpy road, but in reality, that if you stick together during those issues and mend it, you know, the problem with the seller, you'll realize that after that storm, your relationship with the seller will become a lot stronger because there's a lot of trust because they know that you can solve, you know, the problem. And in this business, I mean, yeah, we're investors, but in reality, if you get into this business, you're a full-time problem solver.
100%. We said at the end of each episode of the time, we don't buy properties, we buy problems.
Exactly.
So going back to that, the lady, she was a single Hispanic lady.
Yep.
You know, very motherly.
Yeah.
Kind of took to Felix and because Felix speaks Spanish, so we had direct communication with her. Took to our acquisitions guy, and so it started like in November of last year, and we were supposed to wrap it up in January. I don't think we finished till March, but we ended up helping her, you know, get another property. Her kids, she had children, but we were helping her more than her children were.
Right, her children were already full-on adults, 40, 50s, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the phone call wasn't to her children, and her spouse died, but it was to Felix.
I was the one getting the calls.
And we had news sometimes to deliver to her. Remember when we found out that the buyer was gone, and then we had a delay on appraisal. We had all these issues, and she wasn't going to have a place to stay at because the seller of the place she was buying, they weren't going to sell her the property. So she was going to be essentially homeless.
Yeah, she was.
And the reason they weren't going to sell the property is because, like Anthony said, it has a domino effect. Every delay that happens on the front end with this seller, on the transaction, we call it A to B, the B to C where she's moving to, any delay that happens on the front end has a domino effect on the back end. So these sellers from Canada, I think.
Canadians.
They were like, we kept getting delayed on the front end. So on the back end, they were like, eventually, they were patient. They were very patient with us. But eventually, they got to a point where they're like, we can't wait any longer.
Well, they didn't trust. They're like, this is a scam.
Well, after a certain point, it kind of makes sense. You know, we have to call them again, going like, hey, just want to let you know we're not going to be able to close. Linda, pass me the phone, Linda. Pass me the phone right now.
Yeah.
Listen here. And then they just give it to me. So I'm like, well, this is part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got an earful a lot of the times, but it was understandable. Like, you can understand that. Like, if you're reasonable, you go, like, I can understand that. You got to think of the emotion of that person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how would you react if you got that news?
This is very emotional for them. They've been living in that mobile home for years.
Well,
and
they had health problems.
And there's so many stuff that's probably going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. You know, it's like, it's tough, man. This is why real estate is so complex and difficult, because we are uniting two different universes and colliding them with each other and hoping that there's no black hole that emerges from that, because they have their own life going on and they have their own life going on. And somehow we got to make sure everything works in conjunction and smooth so that we can make this happen.
Right. And what was crazy about that is we took a huge gamble, and we were like, man, should we tell Martha that they're not going to sell the property?
Yeah.
Because when we told them, hey, listen, we explained, because she didn't speak English. So we were kind of interpreting for her too. We told them, hey, this isn't going to happen till, you know, it was just a few days later. They're like, nope, deal's off. This sounds like a scam, or, you know, like, what's going on? She doesn't really have the money to sell. Is she even really selling her house? We're like, no, it's going to happen. It's just we got a little delay. So we all sat, we put our heads to mind. We're like, if we show up, remember, because they're like, we're not selling anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, if we show up with a check for
Yeah.
70 something $1,000
Yeah. At
and
the
just
doorstep.
say at the doorstep and say,
Oh man.
we
Yeah.
want to give you this, and so we did.
Yeah.
So to let you know, this lady was homeless.
Yeah.
Okay, she was homeless, and we said, Bucky.
No, we said give us 10. Remember, we got here post occupancy.
Yeah.
We said give us. We told the buyer of her place because they were delayed. We said give us 10 days.
Yeah, we
'cause
said give us
she
10
doesn't
days.
have a place to
right?
go.
Yeah.
On that end, we made sure she had time so that we could pivot. But where they're on like what she wanted, we were like, okay, well let's play the hand and see what
she had
happens.
faith in us because we put that deal together.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's
Did.
like,
That's where it goes. She had trust in us
Yeah.
because we
Mm-hmm.
solved the problem.
yeah, and she's like, okay, you really think they're gonna sell, Martha? They're gonna sell.
They're
dude.
gonna sell. They're
Yeah.
gonna
You
sell
get
Martha.
this check, but we have to get the check first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were gonna call them and tell them, can you just wait? I think they hung up on us or something like
Yeah.
that. They're like, don't call. It's not for sale anymore.
Yeah.
It-
Didn't something also come up as well? We're like, okay, you know what? Let's make it happen. The buyer and we all chipped in to make something happen because like they couldn't purchase the house for what
The appraisal came low.
the appraisal came in low, man.
Yeah, so we had like 2 appraisals. The first one was golden.
Anthony was literally like pulling his hair out because he looked at some of the reason the appraisal was low and he's like,
I couldn't believe it. It was wild.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the worst appraisal we've ever gotten.
That was crazy. And the guy was from out of town, man.
Yeah, appraiser. We had an appraiser that didn't
Then he
know what
said
they were
something
doing.
about air control or traffic. Wait, hold on. What's this? Yo, okay, and Danny, let's go. And then Dinah Twinkie saying it was also hard to even look for another spot just in case it wasn't going to go through.
Yeah.
Dinah Twin want to get on this podcast
For
with us?
real, he
Heck
should
yeah.
get on this podcast too, huh?
Bridges.
Bridges. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The appraisal came in lower, and this guy is not even from here, and we have so many comps to prove that that his appraisal is wrong. But like, how do you battle that?
Yeah, it's difficult because that appraiser, he's like, well, I'm a professional. This is my job. So it's difficult because he feels like it's not all appraisers, but that appraiser in particular felt like, well, you guys can't tell me how to do my job,
Yeah.
So it was a difficult situation. That one was very bumpy, but we got it done.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was
We did.
happy.
She was
we
happy.
went there.
It's her dream.
We
it was her
literally
dream place.
remember we told her, "Do you want to get down with us when we go talk to him?" She's like, "No, I'm gonna stay in the car."
Yeah. she stayed in the car.
So guys, this is what we did. We literally, we got the deal done on the front end, okay?
Yeah.
And the deal on the B2C part where she was gonna live, those sellers did not want to talk to us, didn't want to hear from us. They said, "You guys are delaying way too much. This deal is off."
Right.
Didn't answer
Yeah.
our calls, so we literally said, "Guys,
Let's pick up the
let's-
check.
let's write a check for $75,000."
Yeah.
And literally show up at their doorstep and
With the
see
check.
see at that point if they tell us no. So what we did, and they said yes.
Yeah.
So it was
Felix,
a good plan.
Felix went there, presented him, said, "We have a check right here
Yep.
for 75,000. Would you please reconsider selling to Martha?"
I gave a whole speech, man.
Yeah, and it was beautiful.
Martha was there.
And she's in the car,
Yeah,
and he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
He goes and gets his wife. He's like, "Hey,
this wasn't a scam after all.
check this out." Like basically, they invite us in. We sit at the table.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
decide,
man.
yeah, we'll do it, and because they were feeling, they actually liked Martha.
Yeah, they
and then
did.
we're like, Martha's in the car.
Yeah,
She's
and
like,
then-
oh my goodness.
Go get Martha. So
Yeah.
we go get Martha.
yeah.
And I don't know if we can make this as as dramatic as it was, but it was
It was freaking
it
crazy.
was dramatic.
Yeah.
It's like some gangster stuff, dude. It felt like
Yeah.
a movie, honestly.
It
Yeah.
did, and she's so happy. She moved in there.
I don't
Yeah.
know. What, I mean, we would have found her another place if they said if
Well,
they.
she was gonna live with Felix. She was gonna move in with Felix.
Yeah, because if they
We
if
didn't
they
know
would have
where-
said if they would have said no, there was no other place
Oh,
for her.
man.
I kept
And-
on telling Felix, you better get that bedroom ready.
And I was like, I don't know, man. Your house is bigger.
But we don't speak Spanish. I should
Uh.
have been like, Senora. No, but that's how we felt. We didn't know where she was going. We're like,
Yeah.
she's gonna have to stay with her daughters, or
Yeah.
but the family. I mean, unfortunately, the family wasn't as active in the transaction. Like,
Yeah.
they relied on us,
Yeah, we had to do everything.
and so that's just one scenario. We've had sellers cancel on us.
yeah.
Yes.
In the middle, it's you can't force somebody to sell their home,
That's
Mhm.
right.
but there's power of persuasion, and so we have to take every single, one day they're like all in, and the other day it just doesn't seem like it's going to work out, and so they're out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's right.
And we've learned, like, there was a seller that we just got a transaction done where she didn't want to sell until she saw her payoff.
Oh, that's right.
And
so it's like, how do we work around that?
Yeah, like, okay, well, do we make moves on our end? Because what if the payoff comes in higher than you think,
Mm-hmm.
and then you don't want to move, and now we're making all these moves on our end to buy it, and then you don't want to sell. So we waited till the payoff, which delayed things.
Yep.
Yeah, and then when that happens, they're like, okay, so are we closing tomorrow?
Right. They're like, all right, you guys got the payoff, so you
It's
guys
like,
ready? We're
no,
like, well,
hold on.
no.
We didn't roll the ball. I mean, we
Yeah.
didn't get the
Yeah.
ball rolling because
Yeah.
we were like at a standstill. So there's all these, it's like playing chess. Like you got to be 2-3 steps ahead
Mhm.
before you make the move.
Yeah.
You got to know where you're going. So it's actually the fun part. It's the part I enjoy, and it makes it different every time. It's always nice to be like what we quote unquote, what people say is like, we see a lot of, gurus on social media and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
the way they making money is, they don't see the ugly side of things, but they make it look really pretty. But really, it'd be kind of boring if it was. I mean, it would be nice to sometimes not have as much emotion, but at least it's a challenge, and it makes you better at your job.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, on social media, I mean, just like anything else, it's a highlight reel. I mean, you show the pretty flip at the end, but on the front end, to get the deal under contract, to go through these hoops and jump through these rings of fire to get the deal done, and then not only that, but once you buy it, the issues that come along with any type of renovation that is unexpected, and now you get the pretty pictures of the flip.
Well,
Yeah.
that's to that point. I mean, we were talking about that. The flip. So they show like HGTV. Just think about like Flip or Flop or Fixer Upper or one of those flipping shows, and it's awesome. They show the house, what it looked like, and you just start walking into it from, hey, this is the house that we just purchased,
Before and after.
and then you got the beautiful after photos, right? But the
Oh,
wild ride is
yeah.
before you even start that. Like they make it
100%.
dramatic. They're like, we bought this house and now we have squatters.
Yeah.
And they talk about the squatters that they made up,
Yeah.
But really, in reality, that's probably something that happened. It happened before they purchased the property.
100%. And I want to bring something up, man.
What's that?
All those crazy moves we were doing with that lady, we were doing it while we were trying to get an appraisal for our duplex, and then like trying to get that worked out was also a mission.
Well, that's like one transaction related to the 10 that we have in the
Yeah.
table, in the pipeline or whatever.
But like at the same time, I'm on the phone with her, like getting this figured out while letting the appraiser in, and then dealing with even stuff happening there
right.
at the same time. It's just, I love it, man. It's good.
Yeah.
And what's great about it is we don't let people know. We're like, oh man, we're so stressed out. It's just like, yeah, how you doing?
Yep.
Yeah, everything's good. What's going on? And like in the background, buildings are blowing up, and it's just like fire.
But we're the firemen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a punching bag in the back, so we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so, I mean, that's something that we kind of hang our hat on.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And
Yeah.
a lot of investors, and we were talking about this to let investors know, and there's going to be those that can relate that are listening, and then
Yeah.
the other ones are like, oh, so it's not as easy as just picking up a check.
Yeah.
No.
if you're working on your first deal, just know that, okay, don't be discouraged when you get a deal under contract and there's issues that arise. Know that
Yeah.
it's pretty normal for issues to arise.
Super
You
normal.
just got to put your nose to the grindstone and keep it moving forward as best you can. There's some deals we talked about at our last meetup, EMA REI, second Thursday of every month. Next one
Shout
is
out.
June 13th.
June 13th,
June 13th.
5:30 p.m.
we
4
talked-
Points Hotel.
We
Can't
talked
wait
about
for
it
you.
last meetup, to where there was a problem that arose where, it was just, we told the seller, hey, we're going to give you all the tools. Probate, they had to get a hold of like 20 siblings or
20
something like that.
siblings, bruh.
Yeah. So
It's crazy.
that is
They're in different
crazy.
countries.
Yeah.
I mean, you have these transactions. We remember them because they last like months.
Yeah, they last a while.
Months.
yeah,
So
they do.
Sometimes you forget even why you're doing this.
yeah,
The probates. They're like, oh yeah, we're making money on that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
If there's a saying, if you solve problems and do the right thing, the money comes by itself.
100%.
You just hustle, do the right thing, we forget, like, wait, are we making money on this?
We'll
How
ask
much?
each other like, what are we doing on this one? What are we making on this one?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have our parameters. Obviously, we're not doing it for
Sure.
like
sure.
we know.
Not pro
Okay,
bono.
like we have our minimums, but
Yeah.
the minimum one can take as much work as something else, but
Mm-hmm.
we know. Is that better? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
better.
know that we're working towards the goal of closing a deal to make some money, but it's sometimes it's a labor of love. It's like the money's not really. It's secondary at some point. It's a lot of it's pride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make sure that hey, this person's taken care of.
Yeah, like the money's gonna come if we're good at what we do and we solve people's problems. The universe is gonna want us to keep solving problems, so it'll keep providing us
There you go.
with the resources and the money to be able to do so.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Run through
universe
the
is gonna pay you back in a large way too.
1,000 per, dude. Let's go.
What the heck?
That's a whip. You got a whip.
Okay.
You know what 1,000 per means?
Nope.
1,000%.
Oh, okay.
1,000 per.
1,000 per. All
That's
right.
right.
Learn something.
I made
today.
that. Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody else say that but Felix.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's been fucking trademark right now.
Yeah, copyright.
Oh my
Copyrighted.
gosh.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So that's it, man. I know you got somewhere to go, and just know that it's the majority of the drama happens before. Okay, everything that happens after, you calculate for that
and
stuff,
it's a roller coaster. Of
and it's a
emotions.
freaking roller coaster of emotions, and depending on how many people are involved. But that's pretty much it, guys.
All right.
Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed this Instagram live. We're going to be doing our podcast like this every single time now. Everybody's got a webcam. Bailey's got a webcam. Anthony's got a webcam. I got a webcam. And it's going to be up in the podcast, and it's going to be up in the YouTube. So thank you guys so much for being here. Yeah. I'll see y'all later.
Hasta luego. Yeah.
Welcome to the Next Level Podcast.
Oh, we don't
We don't buy properties.
We buy
problems.
I gotta get going.